Hey, glad you stopped in. I'm Cora Nordby, and this is my webinar for the 4 easy steps to becoming a Lake Chelan home buyer. Maybe not easy, but easy when I help you. Let's get started.
So hello, I am Cora Nordby. I am a mom, wife, friend, and a professional realtor, and I have been in Chelan in real estate here for the last 9 years. Prior to that, I was a superintendent, principal, and a teacher. So this presentation will cover basic intro steps to getting into a new home, specifically adding in some tips and tricks for the Lake Chelan area. So we will be covering this information in 4 steps. First, understanding the market, get to know the area of Lake Chelan, neighborhoods, and some upcoming developments. Next, we're going to prepare our finances and expectations so you have a good financial picture. Third step is the home buying process, how to partner with a professional and explore homes and how that offer making process goes and closing. And then finally, we're going to go to life after purchase, understanding your responsibilities, growing your equity, and staying connected. And the bonuses today for Lake Chelan are going to be some insider info on neighborhoods and the buyer agency rules. So the first step is understanding the market. You do this by beginning to listen and doing your research. You know, the market changes daily. So what you want to do is start to do a little search online or have a professional realtor help you out with a search and compare the homes in your price range and note which ones seem a little off, like a little too high, maybe because they have some repairs needed, or maybe they are on the waterfront. So you're like, oh goodness, that's a little different market. So you need to do your research and remember that Lake Chelan is a want, not a need. People want to be here. We are well known for our second home market. And so if you're moving here for a job, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to find a home if you're in the lower price range than an upper price range home, because we have a high demand to be here for vacation season. So think about that as you start to do your research. Next, you want to know a little bit about the different neighborhoods. A lot of the neighborhoods vary because the topography that the lake creates is very much impactful on the neighborhood. So you may have a very low sloped neighborhood where you won't get a lot of lake views, and maybe you want a lake view. So you might consider another neighborhood that is sitting more on a slope. We have many neighborhoods that vary with HOA fees and things that they allow and disallow. One in particular that I often get asked about is short-term rentals. So you have to do a little bit of snooping into neighborhoods. And if you are working with someone that can help you do that, that's great. Or just do a little search online. You know, with AI now, you can learn a lot. And lastly, to understand the market, you will want to check out some future developments. The city of Chelan is ever evolving. Even though we are small, we are mighty. So you can get a lot of good information on the City of Chelan's website, and that is cityofchelan.gov. And they have a department, the Community Development Department, Planning Department, and Building Department. They have really great information there. In the Document Center, you can find the City of Chelan development projects. They do have a PDF that you can get. And if you want to search for that, feel free. If you want to email me, I'll send it to you as well. All right, so this is my first bonus specific to Lake Chelan, which we've actually gotten a lot of content specific to Lake Chelan, but here's some neighborhoods to consider. So Chelan Hills is a wonderful area. A lot of locals enjoy Chelan Hills. There are 3 divisions, 1, 2, and 3 to that. They have a very low HOA fee and great amenities. 2 waterfronts that you can access, buoys, tennis courts. They even have an area that you can use to launch your boat for Chelan Hills. So that is a wonderful area to consider. They do not allow short-term rentals. Whisper View Estates, it's also called Suncrest. It's up near the Walmart. That is a great neighborhood for families and near the ball fields, shopping. It is really a nice area for a little bit more affordable homes. You're not going to get big lake views there, but sometimes a few edge or out on the edges of that development, they do have some lake views. Crystal View is a wonderful area to consider as well. They have big lake views, and it was specifically designed to be terraced, so you have some good lake views throughout the neighborhood, and they have some limitations on height restrictions when you build in there, so you are able to maintain those views. They also have great amenities, 2 pools, a marina, sport courts, so Crystal View is really very nice. The municipal golf course area, the city golf course, is a very well-established area. You have golf course views. There are a couple neighborhoods now growing around the golf course. You actually have Lake Hills and a new Highland development coming into the golf course area, so that's really neat, and it's very walkable, so that's a nice area to be in. Downtown, you're going to be close to the action. There are some areas where you can do some short-term rentals and multifamily, so that's a good one to consider. Hawks Ridge, you're going to get big lake views, a lot of privacy, large lots, and 20 acres or so in Hawks Ridge, so that's a wonderful neighborhood if you want a little elbow room. Bear Mountain, that's over near the Bear Mountain Golf Course. You're going to get great views there. That has a specific guideline for building in the Bear Mountain Ranch development there. So if you're looking at lots there, consider asking some questions about building in the Bear Mountain area. Courchevel, that's a wonderful area and right nearby Bear Mountain on the same road in to the golf course. So you're near the golf course. It's gated. There are some walking trails, wonderful views. And if you are someone that wants to get a quick drive to Wenatchee, that side, the Bear Mountain side, Hawks Ridge, Courchevel, those are going to be, that south shore side. Then as you go further on the South Shore living, you're going to run into Sunnybank, Grandview, Chelan Ridge. You get more of a forest feel. You're going to have big views, and sometimes those developments you might be able to get a boat slip with your home purchase or be able to purchase them separately if you buy in those developments. And so they're all unique and have wonderful different types of pluses there. A lot of privacy and more tree type feeling. Waterfront, of course, you're going to get lake access and docks. They're varied water sources if you're looking for a waterfront home. Sometimes you will pull your water from the lake. So consider, if you're considering a waterfront home, there's some questions to be asked there. So be smart about that one. All right, let's move on to some other neighborhoods. Another area to consider is Manson. So Manson is really a beautiful area. They have multiple neighborhoods in Manson. It's more of a farm and orchard and wine country feel. You're going to be lower sloping there in some areas. And as you go up the lake, more toward the Narrows, it'll get a little steeper. You're going to get wider lake views. They have a great downtown in Manson, and a smaller school district if you're looking for a school district for children. There are the 3 lakes, Dry Lake, Wapato, and Roses Lake, and in that area, the north side is considered the sunny side of the lake. So you're going to get some afternoon sun and some heat, more so than the south shore, which it's more in the trees and shaded. Some neighborhoods to consider in Manson are Somerset, Summer Breeze, Manzanita Court, the Village, the Summit area, and out beyond that, there are 55 and over community options in Manson. And then, of course, we have Wapato Point, which is its own unique leasehold estate piece of ground there and is unique to Manson. So these neighborhoods in Chelan and Manson is not an all-inclusive list. There are other unique areas. So working with a real estate professional is key in finding what will be a good fit for you. But this is a good start. So that's my bonus number 1. Let's move on to number 2. All right, we made it through step number 1. On to step number 2, prepare your finances and your expectations. So in this step, you're going to be looking at what your income is and how far you can stretch it in buying a Lake Chelan home. First, you want to assess your finances, understand your budget, evaluate your savings, your income, and outstanding debt. Have your tax returns handy and your pay stubs ready when you find your lender. Compare a few lenders. They will have different types of programs, so you want to make sure that you have found a lender that fits you and you feel comfortable with. You can do this by speaking with friends to get a referral on someone that maybe did a great job for them, or speaking with your real estate professional for a preferred lender. Oftentimes in Lake Chelan, a local lender will be a benefit to you, so consider your lender wisely. Know your down payment options. Your lender will help you navigate options based on your qualifications. There are many programs out there for financing a home. So keep your mind open and listen to the different options that they will help you with. Next, you want to be reasonable. You may consider a lower priced home with potential or one in outlying areas of Chelan. One that you could maybe put a little elbow grease into and fix up that's in a desirable neighborhood could really be a benefit to you over time. You also want to look at the supply and demand that's happening right now in Chelan as of July 2026. We are in a buyer's market. So you can really, as a buyer, you can really benefit and have a strong negotiation position when making an offer. So consider the supply and demand when you go to purchase. Also in Chelan, and anywhere, honestly, you want to consider the location. Consider what type of amenities are available to the homes that you're looking at, how far they are located from schools, your workplaces, your waterfront access, any transportation if you have to drive very far, and if that's going to become a cost benefit or value to you. So you really want to consider your location when you're preparing your finances and expectations. So this is my second bonus for this webinar, financing options. So there are several options for purchasing a home, and this is just a small sampling of which, but common ones that you may have heard about are the FHA loan, conventional loans, seller financing, and VA loans. An FHA loan has flexible credit requirements for qualified buyers. It's typically your 3.5% down payment. It's a great option for first-time home buyers with lower down payments. You can go to FHA.com to learn more about the FHA loan. Conventional loans, you need to have a little bit stronger credit and a stable income, typically preferred for these type of loans. You will commonly see 3 to 20% down for a conventional loan. A standard loan limits may apply, and loans above the conforming limit are considered jumbo loans. A tip on a conventional loan is putting 20% down. You may be able to eliminate PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. So you can reduce your monthly payments if that 20% down is made. Another great loan is the VA loan. It's eligible to veterans and active duty military and qualified spouses. Oftentimes you get 0% down. The VA loan is really great because it is government sponsored and more secure. It has a stigma of being a harder loan to get a house to pass through, but it really isn't. Being government sponsored, it really is a more secure loan and a lower risk with no mortgage insurance. So it really needs to be thoughtfully considered. Another type of possible financing is seller financing. If a seller is willing to become basically the bank and sets out a set of buyer qualifications that can be negotiated, this can really be a nice strategy for some individuals purchasing in the Lake Chelan area. The down payment will vary based upon what you agree upon as a buyer and seller. A tip for this, it's helpful when traditional financing is difficult or a unique property condition exists. Another loan not listed here is the USDA loan, which is often a 0% down. It's found in rural and agricultural communities, and it's not often here in Chelan, but it is a possible one for farms and outlying communities, so it's something to consider as well. Your lender is really going to be the key person in helping you discover your financing options, and your real estate professional can direct you to great lenders and also give you some input on what they've found to work well. Another little tiny tip is that if you pay a broker fee up front for your lender, sometimes you can get a lower rate. So think about that. Okay, now we are on to step number 3. So we've gone through understanding the market, preparing your finances and expectations, and now we are on to the home buying process. So now that you've met with your lender and you have an idea of what you can do, you should have in your hand a pre-approval, and that document is going to help you in this next step. So you are going to find a real estate agent that you trust and is a good fit for you. They're going to be someone knowledgeable and experienced that you have respect for and they have respect for you. So you may want to interview a few people that are real estate agents and discover the good fit. Once you have settled on a realtor that is good for you, you are going to meet with them and have a consultation. So during that consultation, you want to define what you need, your needs, your goals, and what you are financially able to do. Once you've discussed your goals and what you're looking for, your realtor will start helping you find homes. You may use a platform that you're already familiar with online to look at houses, but oftentimes your realtor is going to send you something directly from the MLS, and you will get that link and they will start to send you homes that are based on the criteria that you shared. Once you get those homes, you're going to narrow that down into a home search list that you would like to explore. Now, when you get to this point in the home buying process, you want to be sure that you're going to really have honed down your list and not be extending yourself too far beyond what you can financially do. Once you've decided the homes that you would like to go see, you're going to go on a home visit or home search. On days that you are going to be seeing homes, I highly recommend that you don't really go beyond 5 homes for visits, because if you get too many houses on your home tour day, things start just getting blurry-eyed and confusing. So really hone down that list, taking into account, exactly what your criteria are and what your needs are. Also, you want to keep an open mind. Your realtor might know of a home that fits you, and they might share that with you, and you might be surprised what they come up with. So you've gone through some home searching, you've gone visiting homes. You find one and you are ready to make an offer. At this stage, this is really where your realtor is going to shine, because they are going to understand the documents of the purchase and sale agreement and advise you on what price and terms would make a lot of sense for your home and for the market at hand so that you can win. So they're going to draft an offer, you're going to draft an offer together and submit it to the seller's agent. Once the seller's agent gets it, there may be some back and forth, and they're going to review it, and then hopefully you become mutual. And mutual agreement is when everyone has signed and agreed upon the contract. Once that happens, you begin to move to the next step of going through the inspection and contingencies. Whatever is in the contract becomes executed, and you go through the steps of the contract. You're going to ensure that the property condition and value meets your expectations. And that process should be made simple by your agent. So all this happens, you make the offer, and you are going through a closing process. So you're mutual and you're going through all these steps of the contract before it actually closes. So you'll also become familiar with an escrow and title team that's going to review the property and help you with the closing. So the closing itself doesn't actually happen. Like, you don't get the keys until you've completed paperwork, you've completed all the steps of the contract, you've finalized your information with your lender and payment, and then finally at the very, very end, you will take ownership and the property will be recorded in your name. So it is a long process between making an offer and going through all the steps and getting to closing. That whole piece there should be made easy by your real estate professional, and it should not be daunting at all. That is their job, and so you really want to hire the right person for you. So let's talk a little bit about a contingency versus feasibility. This is the piece of the process that sometimes people don't really understand, and I just wanted to take a minute and explain the difference between the two. So a contingency is a condition that must be met for the sale to move forward. So common things that you'll see as a contingency are financing and loan approval, home inspections, appraisals, the sale of a buyer's current home. Like if you have to sell your home, that it would be contingent on selling your home to purchase the new home. That could be a contingency. A title review can be a contingency. Contingencies can often stop a sale. So if you find something in the home inspection that really tells you, no, this is a bad situation, I want out, at that point, you can either negotiate to be released from the contract or move forward. So contingencies very much offer you some security in the sale itself. A feasibility is the buyer's right to investigate whether a property meets their needs before fully committing. So a feasibility can include things like reviewing the property condition, reviewing septic and well systems, zoning, land use, HOA rules, surveys and boundaries. A feasibility is very open-ended. It's not really super specific. Contingencies are often very specific. Like it has to be related to a home inspection, let's say. Whereas a feasibility is just a very wide open document that helps you make sure that you can have that property meet your needs. We often see feasibilities in vacant land sales. If I ever have a vacant land property, I highly recommend feasibilities, and usually you'll see them because that's a period of research. You're just making sure that it can actually happen, like you can actually build there with the feasibility. Or if a feasibility might happen in a home sale if you really 100% have to have a pool. Okay, let's say it's going to be a feasibility. You've got to investigate for a pool. And if that doesn't happen, then you might be out of the sale. You can get your earnest money back, and you can get out of the contract. So those two things are there's a slight difference there. But if there's anything unsatisfied, if you're not satisfied with a component, those concerns may allow you either to renegotiate or to terminate within the contract timelines. So either of these items, a contingency or a feasibility, your real estate professional will help you navigate those items. They're going to help that occur, and then they're also going to help you know how much time or how many days you have to do things within, and they're going to help that all happen, and they're going to advise you through that process. Contingencies and feasibility, those items protect you. So when you have this contract in place and something goes wrong, these things can help you back out of the contract. Now, we don't want to enter in a contract. You don't want to enter in a contract if you are just willy-nilly going to back out. That's not fair to the seller. You really want to give your due diligence in executing the contract. If you write a contract, then you need to try to get through it. And that's what your real estate professional is going to help you do. And if by chance something does fail within the contract, you are protected. And your real estate professional is trying to protect you all along the way. So that's the difference between the two of them. All right, we are on to another bonus, the buyer's agency rules. Okay, so before you go visiting a property, you are going to be asked to sign a buyer's agency agreement document. Now, this is new to people as of 2024. So if you have not purchased a home since within that last few years, you are probably not familiar, but a buyer agency agreements are now required to actually go on a home tour with a realtor. The agreement that you're going to see explains your representation and your agent's commission up front. So your compensation is going to be negotiated at that time, and that document is designed to be to have transparency for you and the agent, so you know right up front what amount is going to be expected in the end. Now, with that said, compensation is always negotiable, even up to the time of writing an offer. Your benefits of hiring a buyer's agent is that you're going to have access to updated listings and real-time market insights. You're going to have step-by-step guidance for the search right up to the closing. You're going to have strong negotiation skills and pricing and terms insider knowledge with a buyer's agent. And you will have comprehensive assistance with the documentation that is going to be required. So having a buyer's agent is actually very important. And knowing what their value is right up front and that they're working for you is an important piece of the puzzle. So in the past, buyer's agents were paid by sellers. Now that's not always true now. So sometimes sellers will not offer a buyer's agent a commission. So you need to really think about this piece of the puzzle. I'm not going to have enough time here to explain every component of it, but just know that you are going to be required to have a conversation with your realtor about commission the first day you meet up with them at a home visit. Hopefully they've explained it to you when you first talked with them, and it can be sort of uncomfortable because if you don't really know your realtor right away, you might be, a little apprehensive about trusting them. But I feel that if you have a really good real estate professional, they're going to be really versed in explaining it to you so that you can be comfortable with the document and that process. So just keep in mind, it's going to happen. We are almost to the end. We have reached number 4 of the Lake Chelan buying process, the after. What happens after the deal closes? Well, you are responsible for a lot now because you are a happy and proud new homeowner. So there's a few things to think about. You're going to want to potentially change the locks, check your garage codes. Maybe you want to change some security settings throughout the house. Make sure all your utilities are set up and in your name. And that might even happen a little bit before closing. You can call ahead. You want to have your internet and mail forwarded. Have those things lined out. Make sure you store your closing documents in a safe place. Either have it on iCloud, or if you're someone that likes to print them, make sure you have those so that you can access them easily. You want to update your driver's license, especially if it's your full-time residence. Make sure your insurance and billing addresses are all updated. You will want to make sure you know where those shutoff valves are. If you get a water leak, how do you stop it? Make sure you know where your shutoff valve is. Check your breaker panel and make sure you have the correct HVAC filters. You may want to create a maintenance plan for seasonal upkeep of your home. In Chelan, we have a lot of great landscape companies that can care for your home when you're away, especially if you are living in Chelan as your second home or your vacation home. You will want to grow your equity in your home. You may want to make a few additional payments to your loan or renovations I mentioned that earlier. Maybe you purchased a home that you're going to put a little time into and upgrades. So that can happen now. And one thing I will say on that is make sure your neighborhood matches the level of your input to the house. You don't want to overbuild your home and make it so expensive that it actually is overbuilt for your community, for the neighborhood you're in. Make sure that it makes sense. Then finally, you will want to stay connected. Stay connected to not only your community and start growing relationships, but stay connected with your real estate professional, because that person can help you meet new people and find resources throughout the community. Your realtor will oftentimes have a preferred list of contacts for home improvements, for community outreach, and that can be really valuable to you as you move forward with your home ownership. So stay connected. So this is me, once again, your realtor in Washington and Arizona states. In Eastern Washington, I am very active with Chelan, Douglas, Okanagan, Grant, Kittitas, the Spokane, MLS areas. In Arizona state, I serve West Phoenix Valley, Sun City to Wickenburg, and surrounding areas, Cave Creek and Scottsdale. I am in Washington state from April 1st to November 1st, and then go to Arizona November 1st to April 1st. If I have a client that needs me in one of the other locations, I have a representative in the other state assist me, or I fly and support my clients. I specialize in second homes, the luxury market, senior transitions, first-time home buyers, equine properties, farms, and ranches. If you are ready to get started, the next step is pretty simple. Schedule a consultation with me and we will get started on your real estate goals. We'll put them into action and have a plan moving forward. And getting in touch is easy. Just simply scan this QR code for my information or use the information on the screen. Text or email me your questions or for a free, no obligation market analysis of your current home. And I can also provide you with a buyer or seller guide. Just let me know what you're interested in and what questions you have. Thanks again for attending my webinar, and take care.